Hello snowboarders of the internet, I'm your host Avran LeFeber, and in this video we're going to be reviewing The Y by Yes Snowboards. This board features Yes's directional Camrock 242, which means more camber through the feet with rocker in the tip and the tail set back, so you do have more rocker in the nose. This is going to give you that load and snap of traditional camber underfoot, but you're going to get that ease of entry in and out of turns from the rocker, as well as more optimal powder float. This board is available in 151, 154, 157, and 161. I rode this board at Copper Mountain on a sunny bluebird day with cooler temps, little bit of wind. There was firm, fast groomers, fresh snow off the run that was light and fluffy to heavy and choppy, and a little bit of chunder for good measure, and I rode this board with my Rome Black Label bindings and my K2 Thraxis boots. Clearly this board has a directional flex, meaning softer nose progressively stiffening up to the tail with a moderate amount of torsional flex to it. Overall, this board does come in just past middle of the road for that free ride flex. It's still very predictable in how it works. Now, when it comes to stability, you do get a little bit of chatter in the nose, and that pretty much stops before you even get to the front insert pack, and then the mid-body of this board just takes over. In really rutted out terrain, this board just plows through that chop. It doesn't get bucked around. You don't have to worry about it. There's a smoothness and simplicity to this board that just makes it very predictable. Loading up the camber section of this board and getting it to engage with that rocker in the tail to give you some snap is easy. It never fights you. You never feel like you have to drastically load it. Now, when you do load it up and you engage that snap off the tail, the pop is there. It's not mind-blowing. It gets the job done. But why would it be mind-blowing? That's not what this board is actually for. It's more or less just enough to get you up on or over anything in your path before you start slashing or laying a trench. Alright, so you want to do some butters on this thing. Obviously the nose is going to be the better section. It's softer, you got a little bit more rocker, it's set back. So pop a 180, press hard into this board, pop right back out, because you will pop right back out. That camber section is reactive and it wants you to understand that you will snap out of it. Now with that said, you can get sideways, you can swivel and sizzle on this thing. When it comes to the tail, high-speed wheelies are really the key. You really don't have much to work with, but if you do want to get sideways on a groomer and just sit on that back binding, you can, and then it's going to snap out because, as I've already mentioned, that camber section through the middle is reactive. The best way to describe how this board carves is smooth, fluid, and nimble, which means it's quick to transition from edge to edge. It's smooth when it's on edge. You don't feel like it's chattering or that it's going to kick out. And that fluidness just means that it's very easy. You've got that solid transition from toe to heel as you go from one side of the trail back to the other. The nice thing about this board is that it steers outside the front foot and inside the back foot. This changes the power dynamic of it. You can really set that edge, get it in deep and hard, and as you're transitioning your weight, you'll start to steer more under the front foot. Then you transition and elevate that front part of the edge off. You're steering from inside the back foot, which gives you more power as you're pushing into that camber to drive it out of the turn. This is a board you can lay a trench on. You can get deep and low and not worry about it, or you can just be a little more laid back and just smoothly transition from one side of the run back to the other from toe to heel. This is a board that is very exceptional at carving and you feel locked in. Who's this board for? The resort ripping free ride carver that will chase some pow. Since the last time I rode this board, I feel like they stiffed it up. It's still not on the same level as the Optimistic, which makes this the poor man's Optimistic or the more forgiving Optimistic. But overall, it's still a fluid, smooth ride. You can power through a carve with it. It floats well in powder. You don't have as much snap as I would ideally like from something like this, but it's not a slouch. It gets the job done. Overall, this is still a very great board. Comparable boards: the Rome Stalefish, the Ride Super Pig, the K2 Instrument. Binding recommendations: the Now Pilot, the K2 Formula, the Ride C8. This has been my review of the Y by Yes Snowboards. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Do you own one? Are you going to buy one? Leave me a comment down below. Let's have a conversation about this snowboard. If you're new here, remember to subscribe, click the bell, get those notifications. That way you're not missing any of the videos we got coming out for all you snowboarders of the internet. And if you really like what we're doing over here and you want to support us further, swing on over to Angry Snowboarder VIP and become a member. Sure, I could tell you more here, but I got a video over there that explains it so much better. As always, I've been your host, Avran LeFeber, and I'll see you in another video.